So let's start by hearing what the acoustic guitar sounds like as I recorded it. It sounds horrible because this is from the piezo pickup and it's also old and the guitar is not set up properly. Okay, it's bad. So the first thing I did was to add an impulse response, or IR, of a classical guitar actually. I just liked the way this particular IR sounded. So once we apply the IR, this is what we get. Before. After. So it's a lot better, but there are still a lot of these very painful frequencies to listen to. If you listen closely, it's like there's some very high-pitched whistling going on, like beep, beep, on most of the notes. So after a bit of investigating, I found that these were different octaves of the note E. So I decided to cut them with a dynamic EQ, like a multi-band compressor. In this case, it's TDR Nova standard edition, which is free, and it's amazing. So I just want to give you an example of where the bad sound is coming from. So let's take, for example, this is a note E at 2.6 kHz, and let's solo this band and let's remove the compression. And you hear that there's a very distinct whistling that's almost stronger than the note itself. Can you hear it? It's like beep, beep. Alright, so what we can do is engage the compression with a certain threshold that I figured out hand-wavily. And you see it pulls it down every time it gets too loud. It doesn't make it disappear completely, but it's definitely much quieter than before. And hopefully in the full mix it's low enough that it doesn't disturb us. So I did this at several different octaves of the note E. So with this first dynamic EQ we get this result. So before, after, and then we have another EQ because there was one more E note that I could not include in the previous EQ, so I did it afterwards. Same principle, you'll see this working quite hard. And again, every time this whistling is getting too loud, the volume gets pulled down here. So altogether we have no processing. Horrible. Then we have the IR. Better but full of whistling. And then by cleaning the DI before it comes to the IR with these dynamic EQs, it's a bit duller, but it has a lot less of this painful whistling. And then once I had this, I also had some camera audio from two cameras, so a nice stereo image, and I added it to the mix a bit lower in volume, and I had to add very similar processing to this because it's the same acoustic guitar, it's got the same problems. So when we have only the DI with the processing, it's like this. Then when we add the camera audio, which is stereo, we get a bit of nice width. The kind of annoying things, whistles and fret buzz and all those things, I think they're low enough that when we introduce the full mix, it will be decent. So let's put the backing track in. So it doesn't sound like the most expensive acoustic guitar with the most expensive microphone, but it sounds much better than what I had without the processing, which would be this. Ouch. So let's hear the good one once more. acceptable. Okay, see you later.